everyone, and welcome to another top 5 film recommendations video. Today we're going to talk about Halloween film series. In my previous videos I did um, animation shows and animation films. Now we're heading off to the film section, and you can find all of my reviews using the hashtag Hisame review. So here is the list. You can pause the video or screenshot. These are the films that we're going to talk about in this video. Just put them here for easy access for you. Just a bit of disclosure, I'm a 90s kid. I'm gonna gravitate towards stuff that kind of gives me that vibe for Halloween films. And I also prefer spoofy over gory. I'd also like to have more non-English horror, but a lot of them are a bit too body horror reliant. Like, I would like to get more into Japanese and Korean ones, but often it's a bit too much for me. So do please recommend in the comments below some non-English psychological horrors if you know any and you love them. Also up next, in the next videos I'm gonna talk about winter themed films and shows. So we're gonna start off with the honorable mentions. Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures, and The Umbrella Academy. So these are not really for kids. I would say they are 16 and above. They're very quirky, have very nice aesthetics, very much a mood. Kind of all of them started strong and petered out for me anyway, kind of meandered too much. They have a lot of more modern morality, and that's something that I really enjoy, kind of discussing more current topics that aren't like too old. Like I said, I do try and kind of get films from each era and keep this list up to date. There are some things that I kind of didn't get in some of them, like for example the Guillermo del Toro. One of them started out really interesting with like these Nazis, and they had this storage containment where they had like this monster, and then there was this Spanish lady that was angry at them because the two characters, white men, were mean to her, uh, and she ended up letting them die. Which I was like, what is the morality here? Like, what I'm supposed to take from this? That they're all horrible. But the visuals are very nice. They're very much entertaining, and for Halloween, the Cabinet of Curiosities, I definitely recommend it. A lot of witchy stuff, a lot of horror. But again, like I said, it's not for the whole family. The Umbrella Academy has a lot of drug use and other things like that, and time travel, and a lot of bit of depressing stories, and sometimes the plot can be hard to follow, but overall, like I said, the first season of all of these shows are really good. I think everybody will enjoy them, and yeah. Next up is Stranger Things and Black Mirrors. Like, these are huge success stories. I don't know if I should like tell you the plots of these, um, but I think that you don't need to be a horror fan to like these. Like, Stranger Things is more on the sci-fi side. It does have some monsters that are a bit icky, but I don't think it's anything you can't handle. And then, of course, you can watch these with friends and family. I would say it's not a niche content. It's kind of accessible. The plot is fun and easy to follow in both of them. They do tackle classical and familiar stories and have nice plot twists and aren't too gory. Like with Stranger Things, it really milks the nostalgia if you grew up in the 80s and the 90s. It's a whole vibe there that I really enjoy with, a couple of kids. They're going on these adventures and fighting the bad guys, which is something I really enjoy. It kind of loses a bit for me once they become teenagers and kind of have teenage drama, which I was never a fan of even when I was a teenager. And then, of course, with Black Mirror, it's an anthology series, so the good part is that no matter where you drop in on the show, it's easy to follow, and you don't need to have watched all the other seasons or episodes to know what's going on. And Black Mirror tackles a wide variety of issues that I think there's something for everybody. So you maybe can go at the synopsis and like search and see what episode would be good to watch with the family. And you can pick and choose your own. Fourth in the list is finally a non-English show. It is Dark. It is a German show made by Germans in Germany, and then it had success and it got picked up by Netflix. So another good thing about these shows is that they're easy to find. If you saw my previous list about the obscure um, gems, those films, cartoons are a bit harder to find, but these are all on Netflix, so you can easily watch them. This show has very good acting, I would say. Another thing that I like is that I can tell the actors apart because they're not good looking. An issue I have with Korean dramas, less so with Japanese, but a lot of Korean dramas, all the actors are ridiculously good looking. And everybody's like, good looking guy number one, two, three, five. Maybe there's a good looking guy with a mustache. And then maybe there's an old person, but he's still played by a young person. And then you have pretty lady one, two, three, four, five, and you don't even have a mustache to tell them apart. So it can be hard for me to follow the plot when they're all so cookie cutter supermodels. But in Dark, these German actors, one's uglier than another, and a lot of them are playing relatives of each other. So it's like very interesting because you have like Brickface Senior and Brickface Junior, and you can tell they're related, but you can easily tell them apart, the men and the women from each other. So it's for me, it's always good when I can follow the story, because often you have to read the subtitles, and I am definitely against dubbing. Dubbing is a sin, is a scourge. I don't want it. I would always want to hear the actors' portrayal as they intended in their own language. It's important for me to have that more authentic experience of a show. I mean, for exercising, I will maybe watch a Disney film dubbed in Japanese just so I don't forget my Japanese. But other than that, I always try and listen the original language. And then when you're splitting your vision between that, it can get a bit tricky, and you might indeed lose some information. So I like the fact that it's easy to follow what's going on. I also love the fact that it's a period drama that spans 100 years, so you have costumes and things like that. I always enjoy it. The show starts off kind of a detective story, horror, sci-fi thing. I would say it's for 16 and above, and this is such a rare gem of a show. I really enjoyed it. I would say the downsides are that it has time travel, which I don't really like time travel because it kind of implies that the future already happened and it's sort of a deterministic view of the world. Plus, plot holes in logic, and it's not very scientific. So I wouldn't say that time travel is like my top 10 favorite how should I say, genres or MacGuffins in a show. And also because it has kind of this timey-wimey, your own grandfather thing, it kind of gets into incest, and I'm like, did you have to? But in the end, they kind of unravel and has sort of a happy end, and that gets away with, done away with. So overall, Dark, really enjoyed it, definitely recommend it. It's a very good show. Like again, I said, interesting plot, well written, good acting. Next off, I would recommend Ratchet. Ed, Ratchet. It is a psychological horror. It has a really intriguing story. It is a spin-off from the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. If you remember that horror film with Jack Nicholson, which I think is a book adaptation, if I'm not mistaken. And this is about the early life of that nurse in that film, Ratchet. And she's played by Sarah Paulson. And whenever I see Sarah Paulson, I'm like, I want to see what she's into because she always picks interesting productions. And this is again a period drama. Plus, for me, it has cute outfits. She's very stylish. I think it happens in some 60s, 70s time period. And I found it to be very fun to see how such a horrible person kind of evolved. Like she's always been dark, but she just gets worse. And in this spin-off, her brother, I think, is a serial killer or something like that. I haven't seen the show recently. It's been 3 years already. And she tries to save him from himself, and it doesn't work, and he gets away. And in season 2, he's going to be the antagonist. And at the moment, we're all waiting for season 2. But it was very fast-paced action. I wouldn't say action, but like a lot of things happen. It's not a slow show. Also, another plus for me, it has lesbian romance. They made Ratchet into this um, lesbian serial killer horror type character, and it's really awesome how they took this character and gave her so much depth and all of these details. And of course, Sarah Paulson has done such a great work portraying the character. I was like glued to the screen the whole season. So definitely, I would say solid. Good for Halloween. It's more spoofy, spooky, horror-y, like very little gore. Uh, like I don't think you see much blood. Not really. Yeah. So, I wouldn't watch it with the kids, but definitely a great show. And now we get to something that is Disney family friendly that you can watch with your grandma or smaller kids, and I wouldn't say it's much of an issue. After all, as Halloween, a bit of a scare is warranted. What is Halloween with a bit of, um, how should I say, spookiness? And I think you get this in WandaVision and Loki. I kind of lumped them in together because they're the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you kind of have to watch everything to know what's going on these days. But you can still like watch these individually, and not be an issue. They're very short. Like I think Loki has only 6 episodes, and WandaVision kind of has around that. So it's not much content. You can sit for Halloween and binge the show with family and friends. Um, so in WandaVision, for those that don't know, both series kind of deal with trauma and how the characters deal with that, and shenanigans ensue, and you have multiverses and time travel and robots and witches and all kinds of things like that. Um, and yeah, I would say that because it is made by Disney, it's pretty family friendly compared to other Netflix shows that I've listed previously. So again, enjoyable story, good acting. I really enjoyed their performances for Tom Hiddleston and oh my gosh, I completely forgot her name. The Olsen twin, non-twin. I want to say Kate Olsen. Not sure. And of course, really nice costumes and sets compared to other Disney shows. Like they went all in with quality visuals. And of course, another thing that really tickles my cinematic bone is the homage to films and comics. Like, you will see a lot of references. If you're a film and comic buff, and more of a film buff than a comic one, you will enjoy all the things that you see. It's like really gonna tug at your nostalgia, like Stranger Things has, but not to the same degree. And finally, we get to the cream of the crop, The Haunting of Hill House. And I can't say enough good things about this show. I loved it so much. I also don't want to spoil things for you because this is one of those shows that once it's spoiled is like, I mean, you can definitely rewatch it and then you're gonna be like, oh, that thing and that thing and that thing, great foreshadowing. I really love this show. I would say that second watch is better with watching with somebody else that hasn't seen it, so you're kind of like going through that with them. And again, it's a pretty short series. You don't have to spend that much time to watch it, and I think it'll be like great for Halloween. You kind of start in the afternoon and watch until night. It has the haunted house, it has the cursed family, it has the supernatural element. It kind of has a bit of a timey-wimey prophecy thingy going back and forth through spirits, time travel, whatever. But it was such a good show. It is still a great show, like amazing acting, um, great directing. The sets were awesome. I really cared about the characters. Like, all the characters got, I would say, enough screen time to, care about them, form a connection with them. You see them from when they're kids to adults. So it's kind of has like with It, if you know the show, where there's like this crazy clown, and from the Stephen King book, it was adapted several ways. You have this trauma, haunting stuff that starts in childhood and then drags on throughout the entire life of these people. And so I would definitely say that it is better or on the level of It. I didn't put it on this list because I don't like it. I much prefer The Haunting of Hill House. Great show. Definitely recommend it. If you haven't seen it, see it. It's perfect for Halloween. So that's about it. Thank you for watching. Just wanted to say that whenever I reach a milestone, I do art giveaways. I also have art tutorials. I do live art streams. So you can drop in and we can chat about films and comics and show games and other things. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye, everyone.